Steve Jobs isn't the man you think he is. Everyone salutes him for inventing the smartphone and fundamentally changing the way humans live forever, which, I mean, I'd argue that was a net negative to begin with. But there's a side you don't know about, a side they don't want you to see. The truth about Steve Jobs is that he really hates bricks. Breakout for the Atari was made by Steve himself. Shouldn't be that surprising when you think about it, though, that one of the most influential men of all time made one of the most influential games of all time. I mean, Breakout spawned its own genre, essentially, spawning numerous clones that attempted to replicate its format. One of such clones was Arkanoid, one of the more popular ones, actually, which took the original Breakout and added more mechanics to it, like enemies, power-ups, and guess what? Last October, we got a brand new Arkanoid game. Arkanoid Eternal Battle, which tries to take the original classic format of Arkanoid and put it into the Battle Royale format established by games like Tetris 99 and Pac-Man 99. When I refer to Battle Royales and later in this video, I'm also referring to those games, since that's clearly what directly inspired this. I was actually pretty hyped for this game when I first found out about it. I mean, it was made by the people who made Rayman Jungle Run. It has to be peak. But I never ended up buying it until now. That's ominous. Yeah, that title screen intro is probably the coolest thing about this game. So, in the Eternal Battle, you are put against 24 other players in an effort to be a last survivor. You're served up bricks to break periodically, and failure to do so fast enough will result in all of their point values being subtracted from your score. The person with the lowest score every 30 seconds will get eliminated by Doe. As you bounce the ball, it'll get faster and faster, and your combo meter will increase. More combo equals higher score, as you would expect, but you only lose the initial point values when the blocks disappear. It's really hard to fill up your combo meter, though, due to how fast the ball gets. The best chance you have is one of the X capsules, which are one of the Revouse, that's what the ship's called in this game, is upgrades. However, many of these I wouldn't consider to be direct upgrades. Like, there's one that makes your ball really big, and although that can help break bricks, it also reduces your ability to fit into tight spaces. Or the sticky one can be useful, but only when you get 2 of them and the super guy pops up. Otherwise, it's a big pace killer, because even if you can reposition the ball, it's hard to judge where it will go. And then there's the gun, which allows you to blast blocks directly. I think this is cool, but now you have to focus on 2 things at once, which can be difficult. That's the first time I mentioned difficulty in a paragraph. Okay, I'll admit, some of my complaints might be a skill issue. If I was better at calculating where the ball was going to go every split second, then maybe I wouldn't have these complaints. But sometimes this happens, and it's just like, how was I supposed to catch that? In fact, in other Battle Royales, when you die, it's game over. You lose. The fact that here, you just lose points and score is the main factor speaks to how easy it is to die. And because of that, I don't think it works very well as a Battle Royale. Since dying can't be the loss condition, and it wouldn't really be fair to just make it a race either, score is the only way to go. And because you can only eliminate people with low scores periodically, the game drags on. The name Eternal Battle is definitely accurate, as these matches do feel like they go on for eternity. Also, in these other Battle Royales, you can directly attack the other players based on how well you do, like sending garbage in Tetris. In AEB, you get these power-ups. Don't know why they're called that, because they only power other people down. But the most they do is make a person die and lose them some points. In those other games, the stuff you can send can eliminate a player just like that. And as a result of this, player-to-player interactivity in this game is at a minimum. Which is kind of the point of a multiplayer game. It doesn't really matter because you only play against AI, And on top of that, you can't choose anyone to target like you can in those other games. Only the person directly in front or behind you, taking away most of the strategy this genre is known for. When only 4 players are left, the Moai will come and face you all directly. Here the gameplay completely changes, which isn't good. In order to keep your score up, you now have to hit Doe for 1,000 points each. You can also hit his eyes, which not only give you 1,000 points as well, but also clone your ball when hit enough. I normally wouldn't appreciate a sudden gameplay change like this, but I think the high point values combined with the hectic nature of the multiple balls lend itself for a great final sequence. There's also a part about this I really don't like, and you probably won't either after hearing it. After a Doe eliminates the second to last player, which the effect could have been a little less distracting, don't you think? And you are the only one left, you don't win. You then have like 30 seconds to run his health bar down, or you lose. I thought the whole point of these games was to be the last survivor. It even says it right there in the description. In my opinion, you failed at making a battle royale if you can get first on the leaderboard but still get a defeat screen. So yeah, the mode of the game's namesake is just okay. It can be fun, but it's definitely flawed. There's still a few other modes to take a look at. First off, there's a 4-player versus mode, which is a race to break all of the blocks with all the power-ups in an eternal battle. Only one person gets the mouse, so the other players have a massive disadvantage. This could probably be fun if you have 3 other people who are all good at Breakout, but it's certainly not fun against the AI, that's for sure. And finally, we have a couple single-player modes. Neo is a brand new Arkanoid game made in this game's engine, and yep, it sure is Arkanoid, And we also have the original arcade game here, and it's really weird how they force you to play it on the strange curved display with all the background noise of the arcade. I get what they were going for, but I would prefer the option to just see the game normally. Oh, and by the way, guess what? This game is also a remake in this game's engine. You can tell because the sprites has this weird dithering effect, which makes them all blurry, while the text is super sharp. And then you see the game over screen and you're like, yeah, this is no way this is the original. It's not a deal breaker or anything. In fact, it's probably good they did this, because now I can use the mouse, which is the definitive way to play Arkanoid Breakout, besides the dial controller. But it's good to point out this and the off chance that there are physics differences, which I wouldn't know, because I have a life. Other than that, it sure is Arkanoid 1986. Look, I'm sorry, but I just can't get into extremely simple arcade games like this. To me, Breakout was always the game you pulled up on your calculator if you were finished a math classwork early and were bored. It was always the game you pulled up when Cool Math Games was blocked and all you had was Google Images. May it rest in peace. Because of that, I don't really see the point in playing base Arkanoid when games like The Binding of Isaac, Pizza Tower, and Dynamite Deluxe are just a few clicks away. To me, playing these arcade games is mostly just a novelty, if anything. Now, if you do something to change up the formula, like making Pac-Man really fast, or putting me up against 24 other Arkanoid players, then I'll bite, and I might even enjoy it. In the case of Pac-Man, I had more fun mining out the entire map in SteamWorld Dig for that achievement, unsuccessfully, than I did playing Arkanoid Eternal Battle. And the thing is, there are Arkanoid games that have more compelling single-player modes, but they went with the simplest one possible. But for a dead multiplayer mode and 2 mass single-player modes, 30 is an absolute scam. And the game just came out, so sales probably won't... That's not good. I think we're all aware of how discounts work, right? When an item first comes out, it's... discounts aren't that steep, like 10%, 25%. But then as the years go by and it gets older and older, discounts get steeper and steeper. We're all familiar with that? Okay. So why the heck is this 90% off not even a full year into its life? I'll tell you why. Because that means it's a massive flop and they're desperate to sell copies. It's not hard to see why when you think about it. I mean, one of the reasons is that it's mid, as I've already established. But I think the other one is that Arkanoid is also really obscure. None of my generation knows about it. The only reason I knew what Arkanoid was is because my dad got me this bootleg Fammy clone on a business trip to Korea that has Arkanoid on it. It's a miracle it was on the front page, or else I would have never found it amidst the 999,999 games on this thing. If this was a collection of all the Arkanoid games, with the brand new Eternal Battle mode as a bonus, this could have been a solid title. But since all it offers is a very flawed Battle Royale mode with no player base, a local multiplayer mode that you'd be hard pressed to get your friends to try, and single player modes that do nothing to freshen the incredibly stale gameplay, Arkanoid Eternal Battle is an incredibly disappointing experience. If you are a fan of the original, there could be something here for you. But otherwise, you definitely shouldn't break out your wallet to try it. I'm actually kind of proud of how much that last paragraph sounded like an IGN review.